Hey, how are y'all doing this morning? This is Kathy from Crowder's Mountain, and this is Barn Quilts by Mountain Visions. And I have been asked to redo the Love's Blossom barn quilt. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, I'm going to show you how to draw the pattern and then put up some pictures in the end of the barn quilt when I finish it, because I've already shown you how to paint that part of it. If you'll look back, I think I called it Love's Blossom, and it's pink. I can't remember the number of the video, but if you look back through my videos, it's pink, and you'll see it, and that's where I show you how I tape it off and paint it and that kind of thing. But for today, we're just going to do the pattern. I didn't have my camera set up just right in that first one, and so folks have asked me to do it again since I figured out my camera angle a little bit better. So that's what we're going to do. So if you already know how to do this one, you don't have to worry about it watching it, but if you need some instructions, here we go. First thing we need to do is find the midpoint on our block. Now my block I'm using is 24 inches, so this is going to be a 2x2. So I've got a 24-inch ruler here, and I'm just going to make a tick mark at 12. And I'm going to do that all the way around. Making my tick mark at 12. Because what we're going to do is find the center of our board. Let me tell you what I'm doing here too. This is the back of the block that I'm going to be painting. And I'm just using this paper, which is the back side of a flip chart, the graph. Okay, let me start that again. It is the opposite side of a piece of graph paper that comes on a flip chart. Now, now that that's said, what we're going to do now to find the center of our board, we're going to connect those grid marks, tick marks, and now we have the center of our board. That's step one. So I'm going to try to do these in steps. So at the end of each step, take a snapshot, a screenshot, and you can print it out, and that way you'll have your pattern. Or you can just come back and keep watching this video over and over, and that's fine too. That'll even help me more. I'm still working on those watch hours that you have to have. Okay. So then the second step that we need to do is to draw our clock hands. So in this particular pattern, we've already drawn 12, 3, 6, and 9, you see. Now we need the other clock hands. And let me show you how I do that. Okay, here's what I have. I have this arc, and you can go to the dollar store and find one or a half of one. You don't have to have this big one. But what I do, and it's so much easier to draw these clock hands like this, is I put that put that arc on my page, and then I'm going to mark it at 30 and 60 in each one of these squares. So each one is 30 and 60. And once I've got that done, watch when I lift off of it, these lines are going to be perfectly even. The spaces between my lines are going to be even. Okay, then once we've got those marked, I guess that would be step 2, is marking those spaces. So now, to make our clock hands, we're going to call this step 3. And all we need to do is take our ruler. Now this is 24 inches long, so if you're using a yardstick, you're going to measure it a little bit different than that. But each one of these lines have to be 24 inches long if you're drawing this on a 24-inch block. If you were drawing it on a 36-inch block, you need to have them be 36 inches long. Alright, so I'm going to put my 12 mark right in the center there. And I'm going to even my ruler up with my tick marks that I made. Here and here. And I'm going to go to the 0 and draw it down to the 24. Not necessarily to the end of the ruler now. At 0 and 24, because you know you always got a little bit left over on your rulers. Alright, we're going to do it again here with these tick marks. We're at 12. Here's the tick mark. There's the tick mark. Drawing it down to 24. Let me get my other marker here. I think that one's a little bit worn out. Okay. And then one more. I'll get my 12 right in the center and line up with those tick marks. Sound like a car coming in. Okay, now there's our clock hands. And you see how each one is evenly spaced. So that's important when you're drawing this. So that was step 3. I'm going to write that down. Alright, now step 4. Now this is going to be important. You won't necessarily have to do that on your pattern when you're drawing it onto your barn quilt, but for this I'm going to include that in my steps because I will reference these numbers. So we're going to draw 12, 1, 2, these are clock hands, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10, and 11. So you see, we've got the face of a clock. That was number 4. So for number 5, step 5, it's not hard either. Now I'm going to use a 12-inch ruler just because it's going to be easier to use. All right. So step 5, we're going to find the middle point. Okay, this is 12 inches. Remember, all of our lines was 24. So we, from the center here to the end of number 6 is 12 inches. And we want to find the center, so we just make a tick mark at 6. And we're going to do the same way here. And the same here. And don't let, when you're making your tick marks for your lines, don't get confused with these tick marks. So you see how I made that a little bit like a line instead of a dot? That keeps my brain from getting confused about that tick mark. And you could put it in different colors if you wanted to. But you'll see, you'll do it right. So I'm just going around and making my tick marks. Put that back in the center. So you see what I'm doing? I'm making a tick mark at 6. That arc was just the exact same size as where these tick marks need to be in this step. So again, don't let it confuse you. And if you were drawing this on your board, you could actually erase those first tick marks that we made. All right. So that was step 1, 2, 3. That was step 5. All right. Now let me show you step 6. All right, step 6 is not hard at all. You've got your tick marks. So the only thing we're going to do in step 6 is start connecting some dots. So we have the end of 6, clock hand 6, and we're going to draw that tick mark that we just made in the center of our line. Now we're going to go from 6 to the middle of 7. We're going to go from the middle of 7, where our tick mark is, to the end of 8. We're going from 8 to the tick mark in 9, or the center. And then from the center to the end of 10. From 10 to that tick mark in the center. And center of 11 to 12. And from 12 to the center of 1. 1 to the end of 2, 2 to the center of 3, and 3 to the end of 4, 4 to the center of 5. And then, kind of messed that up. I didn't get right on that center, did I? We'll go back and do it. I don't want that line to get messed up. All right, and then from that center tick mark down to 6. And that was step 6. Don't have many more to go and you'll be finished. All right, now let's do 7. And I'm changing colors so that they'll show up on here, but this was 6, so take your screenshot if you need to. All right, for number 7, now that was 6. So number 7 is exactly the same thing, only we're using the other set of numbers and tick marks. So at 6, see, number 6, we're going to go to the center of 6 where we made that tick mark. And you probably figured it out. We're going to go to 7. Ooh. And then we're going to go from 7 to the tick mark at 8. Tick mark at 8 to the end of 9. You get the picture? See? We're actually drawing, you know, that looks like a starburst, right? And it looks like we're drawing another one on top of this one. So we're going to go from 1, tick mark at 2, 2, and 3. Here you go. And at the end of 5, going right back to where we started. And that was step 7. So take that screenshot. Okay, and step 8, it's real simple too. So we're just building on one thing after another. So let me, hopefully my green pen will work. And the only thing that we need to do, now if you've got a yardstick or a 2-inch ruler like I have, we're going to draw, see these petals right in here? That's part of the petal for the balloon. All right, we're going to go at one of these points. Let me show you with the smaller ruler first. And we're going to draw a line from that point to that center. That's all we're going to do all the way around. See that? Now if you got your ruler or your yardstick, and if you wanted to, see the point of that one goes straight through the middle. Line it up with this one over here. And you could just go straight across and you'd have 2 at a time. Which is a little bit faster. But you know what? We don't care if we're fast or not. We're just having fun. That's what matters. Just enjoy the journey. Listen at my pen squeak. I'm sticking my pen right there in the middle of it and putting the ruler up against it so I know I'm in the right spot. Okay, see, we've got our green lines all the way around now. And that was step 8, so take a screenshot of that. Okay, step 9 It's not hard either. We're going to take our ruler and we're going to go into the center again. Putting that 0 right in the center. And I need to find a different color of pen, don't I? Let me try this purple. Alright, and we're gonna we're putting a 0 right in the middle, and we're gonna mark this at 4. This line is actually 7 3/4 inch, 7 3/4 inch, but I'm marking it at 4, and it's always worked out for me that way. So we're going to mark each one of our green lines at 4, centering that 0 right into that center of our blossom. Missed one. So each green line, we're marking it at 4 once we've got that 0 centered in. Doesn't work. I hope this is going to be light enough. Well, the light is right, and I hope this is going to be dark enough that you'll be able to see it. Okay. That was step 9. So we've got each one of our green marks that's in the center of the blossom. We went back in and marked it at 4 inches from the center. Now, I need another color, don't I? Okay, this is going to be step 10. Let me find another color pen. Okay, step 10. I got another color here, so I hope it'll show up. So let's reference back to number 6. And you see that tick mark that we made in the center? We're going to go from there to the tick mark we made in the center of this part of the blossom. In other words, the green line. And then from that point down to the next tick mark. See that? We're going to go from that tick mark to that tick mark, which is the center, and then back down. So see what we're doing is drawing triangles. And we're going to go all the way around. We're going up and down. Up and down. From that tick mark to this tick mark. And back down. Tick mark. Tick mark. Y'all got the gist of it now? trying to make sure you can see what I'm doing. Without my hands getting in the way. Okay. Ta-da! That was step number 10. All right. And you know what the next step is? The fun part. Deciding what your colors are going to be. Now, hang on a minute. Okay. So when you're deciding what colors that you want, that's wiggling. You want to do the dark on the left. So say this is your blossom. So you just choose what shade, what color, whatever you want. But have the dark on the left and the light on the right. Light right. That's the way I remember it. And for each section, that's what you're going to do. So you need a light and a dark color of each. So if someone's birthstone is green, just pick a lighter green. So you'll have a contrasting color. So I'm going to show you how to start painting it with just these colored pencils. So I've got a light and a dark green. So I'm going to put my dark green here. Okay. So I'm staying to my left, to my right. So this section, this one was on my right. Now next section, this one is on my right. So each time you paint, you're going to paint a shape like this one, and then this is the next section, so I'm staying to my right. And you know what happens if you paint the wrong one? You paint over it. But you see what I did? And this is the petal of the blossom. So I stayed right. This section, this is a section, and that's a section. And I stayed to the right with my dark colors. And then I'll come in. Now what I like to do is I'll paint all of these dark colors. If I've got 4 petals that's going to be with the dark and light green, I'll paint all 4 dark petals first. And that can get it can get kind of tricky if you're not careful. You've got to make your mind up how many colors you want. Now, I guess you could have 6 colors since you have 12, or you could have 12 colors, I guess, but the ones I've seen look better with 3 or 4 colors. But you could have whatever you want. It's your art and you do it your way. But say for instance, I was going to have 4. Here's 1 color. Here's 2, 3, 4. So this one, number 1 again, which would be my dark green. My dark green. And I can mark it with a heat erasable pen instead of a little piece of paint or a snip of paint. Alright, so then that's 1 again, because that's my first one. 2, 3, 4. And then this would be 1 again. So 2, 3, 4. So I would have 3 colors. If I'm going to use 4 colors, I would have 3 of each one. 3 times 4 is 12. Yeah. It was yesterday. All right. So then, I'll just do this real quick. So I would put my light green, I don't even know if you can see this or not. I'd put my light green beside of my dark green when I'm painting. And a pencil sharpener. Okay, you see that? So I would paint that. I'd paint my dark all the way around, and I'd go paint my light all the way around. And that just helps me keep up with it better. So there you go. Now I'll show you the one that I finished, and I can't remember how many colors. I think it was 3. And here's another thing too. Some folks put a circle around it, and you can still do that. You know, if you've got one of those markers that makes a circle, you know, one of the little tape things, or if you've got a tool like this, you know, I've got this that's a circle maker, and I'd put it right here, and then I would make sure my pen got that tight. And make sure, and a lot of times I tell you what I do is I stick a little tack in there, like a little tiny paneling nail, because I can't keep that straight for nothing. But then I would put my marking pen right on the end of my board, which is where the end of that blossom, that petal is, see? And then I just go around like that and making my circle. And then you can paint the inside here one color and the outside another color. Especially like if you've got, if you're making one that's got different things going on, that's not, maybe not cancer, maybe it's, you know, multiple sclerosis or something like that, and they've got other things too. So you could just kind of incorporate all that and do like I do and call it a blossom of hope. Don't tell nobody I said I did that. Okay, let me show you some pictures of the finished product. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section, and I try to get to them. I try to look at that every couple of days, and I really like having your comments because that helps me. Just like this one, to me I could see the angle right, but I knew what I was drawing. But to a new person that had never drawn it before, it was hard to understand. So that really helped me for somebody to say, I wished you would do that again now that you got that camera angle right. And I enjoyed that. So thank you to that person, and I hope you enjoy drawing Love's Blossom / Blossom of Hope.